Hi all, this is Hemant Sharma. In this video, I'll talk about the motion editor in Adobe Flash Professional CC. Motion editor allows you to easily create complex motion tweens with minimal effort. If you look at the interface of the motion editor, it comprises of a compact view of the object you're tweening along with all the properties you're tweening for the object. With this easy to understand interface, you can now control the animation of the objects in your projects precisely. Quickly looking at the interface, the left sidebar represents the layer or the object you're working on, along with any properties you're tweening for the object. On the right hand side, you see a timeline, then the graph after you apply changes to the properties of the animated object. These graphs are shown within a grid. The horizontal axis of the grid represents the time and the vertical axis represents the values for the selected property. The graphs are plotted in 2 dimensions that are also called as property curves. To get into this interface of motion editor, you need to first create a motion tween. Then double-click on the frame span or right-click and select Refine Tween. You can define motion for the object properties by selecting the desired frame, right-clicking on the tween and choosing Insert Keyframe and the property type. Just like you add keyframes in the timeline, you can add anchor points inside the motion editor for each property. This is done on the property curve. Every anchor point on the property curve represents a keyframe for that property. Of course, this is where you define the changes in the properties of the object you're tweening. On the left bottom of the motion editor, you have a button to add anchor points on the graph. Choosing that and clicking anywhere on the property curve is going to define a new anchor point. You can also double-click anywhere on the curve to create an anchor point. You then can alter the point to the desired time value position. I have animated the X property of the object. If I play this sample tween, this is the end result you see. Let's look at an example that has many different properties defined. Let's look at the end result of this motion tween. The property curves that appear faded are the ones that are not actively being edited. For example, if I select the Scale X property, you'll see all the other property curves slightly faded in the graph, so you can concentrate only on the Scale X property curve. Taking another example, if you select the Y property curve, you see 2 active curves out of which one is a dotted line and the other is solid. The solid line represents the active property curve and the dotted line represents the resultant curve of the ease curve and the property curve. You can apply or change ease curves by clicking on the button below and choosing a preset. You can remove a property's tween altogether by selecting the property you want to remove and clicking on the delete button below. You can also change the ease curves and remove the tween altogether for not only properties but also for property groups. For precision and visibility, you can toggle the Fit to View button that fits the tween span horizontally to the visible area and control the vertical zoom factor for the tween span using the drop-down menu. As you want to get out of the motion editor, you just have to double-click the tween itself and it brings you back to the regular timeline. You can also uncheck the Refine Tween by right-clicking on the tween. You can copy a property curve and paste it to a different property. This makes it even easier to reuse a complex property curve on a different property of the object. All you need to do is select the property, right-click on the property curve and click Copy, then choose the other property, right-click on the property curve or graph and then click Paste. That's it. To make it even easier, you can also find the Motion Presets panel in the window menu. All you need to do is select an object you want to apply the preset to and choose the preset and click Apply. You can also smoothen the corner segments. This is done by selecting the anchor point, then holding Alt on Windows or Option on the Mac and dragging the anchor point. Easy, isn't it? That's it. You also can custom create more presets for use in other objects or projects. Well, I hope you had fun learning about the motion editor in Adobe Flash Professional CC. Thanks for watching.